Hello, everybody, and welcome to this month's Heart Bunch. We are going to be talking today about some of our favorite ways to manage the holiday season. And it's no surprise to anybody that the holidays can be stressful, even if they're meant to be joyous occasions. According to the American Psychological Association, last year, over 2 out of 3, or two-thirds adults in the United States reported an increase of stress during the holiday season compared to other times of the year, which actually then interferes with our ability to enjoy the holiday season. And then that makes it feel kind of like a competition. And here at the Heart Bunch, we're no different. We all experience our fair share of holiday stress. So we also wanted to share some of our favorite ways to manage these top stressors and help us keep our holidays more enjoyable. Some of the common holiday stressors that we experience are stresses with finances, finding the right gift for the right person, missing our family or loved ones, having way too much to do, and feeling pressure to make the holiday special or perfect. So we wanted to focus on how to help these holiday stressors that all of us experience and many of us share, because there's a lot of surveys that told us these are the top five. So I'm going to pass it to Gabby to talk about finances and how she manages those.
Well, thanks, Ashley. So when we look at finances, there's a couple of things that I've done and my family has done. One of the biggest things is I try to shop throughout the year. So if I'm spending time with family or with friends who I know I'm going to buy something for, I'll go with them. I'll hang out with them. If there's something that they like and there's a good deal on it, I'll purchase it and not really wait for Black Friday or kind of December, like a couple weeks before Christmas when there's such a rush. Um, if it's a store that I normally shop in, I get an idea of kind of the deals and sales that they have throughout the year. So I have an idea of like if a sale is really good or if I can wait a week or two and maybe they'll have an even better sale. And so that's kind of how I manage that. And then also I have family. Well, I have friends. They have a big family and they get together every year. There's like grandkids at this point, kids, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents, all of that. And so what they started doing a long time ago is they just put all their names in a hat and they draw somebody's name and then they purchase the gift for that person. And that helps them manage their budget and their finances. All right, Aaron, you're up next. What's the strategy that you have?
Thanks. So I'm talking about finding the right gift, and this can be stressful for a lot of people. In the past, I've struggled with this personally, trying to get a perfect gift for my wife or kids, and it can just make you go a little crazy or super stressed out. So I found three key tips that can help reduce this stress and anxiety. The first is to focus on thoughtfulness, not perfection. So some of the best gifts I've ever received are not the ones that are perfect, but they're the ones that are really meaningful and important to you. So it doesn't have to be anything big, something that might be meaningful to the person. The next is if you're really struggling, ask for help. You can ask your friends, family to help you find a good gift, or you can even ask the person, like, what are some things you might like so you don't have to stress about it. And a lot of people, they prefer to have something they're going to use than something that's just going to sit on a shelf or they have to return. The last thing is to try to relax and enjoy the holiday season. Remember, the spirit of gift giving is about connection and joy, not stress. Your effort and the kindness you show is what really matters. So try to focus on these three things and not, just obsess about finding the perfect gift. So I'm going to turn it over to Sadie to talk about our next tips.
Thanks, Erin. I want to talk about mental health because it's really important to take care of your mental health during the holidays, which can be especially difficult if you've had a loved one pass away recently. We lost our grandma not too long ago, about 2 years ago, and she was the one who hosted all of our family Christmas parties. And so there was a lot of shifting, a lot of traditions that needed to change when she passed. And so it's just a little bit of a hard time for my family trying to figure out where we wanted to go from there with her being gone. So it's important to allow yourself the grace and compassion to experience all of the feelings and emotions that may arise if you've had a loved one pass away recently, and having a safety plan for yourself and your family if it becomes too activating or too triggering. So we put a few links below for resources on how to honor your loved ones and how to cope. If your loss is by suicide, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has a program specifically for loss survivors to seek support, and we'll link that below as well. Also, remember that you can call 988 if you or a loved one needs that support. We also have a different video specifically on grief, and that'll be in our playlist for the Heart Bunch videos. It's important to engage in open and honest conversations with your loved ones about your struggles. It's really important so they know how to support you and for you to know how to support them as well. And part of that entails creating healthy boundaries. And so I'm going to pass the time over to Chapel to talk about those healthy boundaries.
Yeah, so having too much to do is something that came up for me just this past weekend. It seems like in Price, nothing happens until everything happens at the same time. And so, we were wanting to do the orthodontist Christmas party and the light parade, and Wicked is out and we need to see Wicked. And so we set this really ambitious plan for the weekend. And then as we got into it, we were tired. We did not want to try to do all of these things, but you feel this pressure, right? We have to make sure we get to all the things. We made commitments to people to meet them at the light parade, so we got to be there. And it's just really important to make sure that you draw those healthy boundaries for yourself. That's something that really worked for me, to just say, you know what, we're not going to do the light parade this year. Instead, we're going to stay home and watch a Christmas movie and just spend time with the four of us. And in the short term, that might upset somebody that you had said you would do something with, or, a person whose party, you wanted to go to. But it's important to realize that in the long term, setting those boundaries is an important piece of self-care, and it really can help strengthen your relationships to be honest about your needs and set those boundaries with your friends and family. So I'm going to pass it to Matt to see what tips he has for these stressors.
All right, there's a lot of pressure to make the holidays special or perfect. We set a lot of expectations for ourselves based on what we might see online, social media, or what our friends are doing. We may feel like we're failing no matter how hard we try or how much we do. But it's important to remember that imperfection is healthy, and that is the norm. Things are up and down. It's hard to plan exactly how things will go or know exactly how things will go. Our homes, our cooking, and ourselves do not need to be perfect in order to have a beautiful holiday season. It's most important to just be present, and when things don't go as planned, remember that that's normal too. Our gatherings should be as flexible and dynamic as the people who attend them.
Thanks, Matt. I think we all have these strategies, and there's also some strategies that you probably have that we didn't list here. So these are just some additional ideas to add to your toolkit and your toolbox for when you need them. We also have here a list of different ways to learn more, including some ways to de-stress during the holidays, some tips to take care of yourself and your mental health. There's also the video here linked to grief during the holidays that we mentioned as well. And we hope that you will follow us and like and subscribe to our newsletter and our channels. And we appreciate everything that everybody gave us today for ideas, and hope everybody has a very happy holiday season.